AkronHipHop.com, the ReporterNewspaperOnline.com. I'm out here, and when I'm out here, what? Is that Animal? What up, Animal?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, he must be standing behind somebody, because usually when he's that far, that means he's doing something special. And when we talk about something special, it got to be Kofi. Doc Ock in the building.
What's up?
Hey man, where the hell are we at, man?
Oh, today we're live on location outside the Akron Art Museum.
This is the art museum.
Art Museum, yes sir.
Okay, well hey man, we are doing our thing. What is they? We in the garden?
Yeah, Sue and Bud Rogers, or Bud and Susie Rogers.
Okay, it looked real good and everything. So hey, tell everybody what you do who don't know.
Well, you know, I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and the other thing. Today I'm over here telling stories, but if you catch me on the weekend, you can find me at Hartville, Rogers, or Four Seasons over in Youngstown at my pop-up booth, the Akron Love booth. So you just come on out and get yourself some African love. Each and every stick guaranteed to work for a couple weeks without lightning at the end of that time. You won't think I'm a geek and your car won't reek.
You better say it. You got the best incense in the city. Ain't no pity that they on top, man. They on top. So what's the story today?
Story today, we're continuing on with the story about Africans in the Americas. Okay, so we're talking about before Columbus, we're talking about sometime after Columbus, but we're definitely talking before 1619.
All right.
So today, we're continuing on with the story of Esteban. Some people call him Esteban the Black, Esteban the Moor.
The Moor.
The Moor.
The Moor.
Straight out of Azamur, Morocco.
Hey, Animal, he's talking about the Moors today. The Moors.
You know you love it. So what most people don't realize is that the stories about the Moors are true. The Moors did rule what we now know as Spain for 700 years. Not only did they rule Spain, but they improved the life of everybody who lived on that whole peninsula, because they brought science, they brought learning, they brought religion, they brought law and order, they brought lights, they brought running water, they brought all those things. They had, you know, they had some serious science that was going on down there that was not happening anywhere else in Europe. So when the so-called explorers went to go do their exploring, the first thing they did is stop off in West Africa and pick up a guide, because they didn't know where they were going, but they knew the Moors knew more about the traveling over the seven seas, navigation, etc., etc. So they picked up Esteban. He was a young man, and they took him with them over onto the other side into the Americas. They took him into Cuba, and they left from Cuba, and they went over to Florida. Now that whole territory over there, from Florida all the way to, I think there's a place called Panuco over in Mexico, had been basically unexplored by Europeans. So when they go to take this on their voyage of discovery, they took Esteban with them. And the interesting thing to me is that they could not communicate. Matter of fact, they refused to communicate with the natives when they met them. So the leader of the group, I think it's Cabeza de Vaca, something like that, he refused to talk to the natives. He was straight turn his back.
Turn his back?
He would turn his back on the natives and not say a mumbling word, to show that he was too good for them to even talk to him.
Wow.
So Esteban was deemed the interpreter, and he would be the one that would talk to them. But we've always been told that when we came over here, we were all mixed up, different African languages, etc., and couldn't speak to each other. But somehow, we always ended up being the interpreters. In this case and other cases.
Good knowledge.
Yeah. So Esteban did all the interpreting. He learned the language. He learned the sign language. He learned to speak to them. He learned their language, and was very helpful in keeping them from starving, because that was the first thing they had to deal with. They didn't have a lot of food. They'd only brought so much food. They'd had a hard journey over the water, and so they needed food. Well, what did they do? See, Bob Marley talked about it in one of his songs. He said, "You eat up all my corn." And so that's what they did. They had a few kernels of corn. They had Esteban showed the Native Americans the corn, and they pointed out to their fields. And what did the so-called discoverers do? They went out there and discovered the cornfields that the natives just told them they had planted over there and that had ripe corn in it. And they ate up all the corn in one day.
Wow.
So they ate up all the corn, the green corn, the ripe corn, everything. There was nothing left. They devastated it. Left the Native Americans with nothing.
Savages.
And this is what they did from place to place to place. So what they were looking for are the 7 cities of Cibola. Now these 7 cities of Cibola were supposed to have a heck of a lot of gold there. And that's, that's the main thing they're always looking for, is that gold. So they went looking for the gold. And the natives said, well, we don't have any gold. They found one little golden rattle, which, that really gave them a lot of hope right there to see that golden rattle. Because they said they must have a lot more gold where this came from. And they said, well, we don't have it, but these other people called I can't say their name properly, but the name Appalachian comes from their name. Okay?
Okay.
So the word Appalachian is a name derived from this particular Native American tribe. So they headed north looking for these Appalachians, and when they found them, they had heard already that they could be kind of violent, okay? But they also heard they were very wealthy. So they went there looking for them. They went up there looking for them. They found them. They ended up getting into a fight with them, and the Appalachians ran them on out of there. And from then on, it was all about survival. And they went on, they continued on from there all the way across over into Mexico. It took months. As a matter of fact, it took probably about a year overall. And in the end, most everybody died. They started out with 300 soldiers. They ended up with about 5 people were left at the end. Esteban happened to be one of those last of those quote unquote explorers to live and actually make it all the way over into Mexico. Now there's a lot more details, but I can't go into all that today, unfortunately. But suffice it to say, there's a story that must be told. The story is out there. I'm gonna leave it on you to discover for yourselves the rest of those details of this story.
Come on, man, but you dropping black
all
facts, so
part of
that's
our
dope,
history.
man. I love having you out here, and the gear you be rocking, man. Come on, man. Where did you get this? What's the outfit called, man? With the purse and everything. Go ahead. I always got that getaway sack.
This is a satchel.
Okay.
Just like Satchel Paige.
Right.
I got my satchel here too. Then this right here, this is a kaftan, and then with it we have the shokatos.
And you got the Stacey Adams.
Actually, these are Cole Haan,
Oh,
but whatever.
Hey, man, you be sharp, man. I appreciate you, man.
All right,
rolling
my
with us, man, and everything. Hey, Animo. That's my man coming through, man. Hey, man, real quick, man. What do you think about Kofi, man, when he be telling us about all these black facts, brother?
I love it because it's something that I've never heard before. Nobody has ever spoken on it quite like this man right here. And I consider it an honor and a privilege to be in his presence every time he decides to show up on the scene and lay it down on us.
Hey, he's a master teacher, man. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
it
You know the feeling is mutual.
All right.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, have some fun to get something done, y'all. Peace.
Positive.